But science tells us that the moon controls the seas. They tell us that it's the gravitational pull from the moon is what keeps the seas from coming any further inland. And again, we have a direct inversion from what God says in Scripture. We'll see this theme a lot as we move forward. They claim the fact that we can judge the tides by the sign of the moon is proof that the moon controls them. But I say the fact that Scripture tells us that the lights in the heavens are for signs, seasons, days, and years perfectly explains why the sign of the moon tells us what the tides will be doing. The moon is doing its job by providing signs for us to be able to read in order to understand parts of the creation around us. Now, there is something else about the moon that is interesting. Scripture says that God created two great lights, that the greater light rules the day, we know this as the sun, and the lesser light that rules the night, we know as the moon. Science would tell us that the moon does not produce its own light. They say that it reflects the light from the sun, that it only reflects the light from the sun. But yet, Scripture says the moon is a light as well. Now, this is another intentional inversion of Scripture. And I want you to keep that in mind as we move forward. It will be important in understanding why the truth actually matters, and we're going to dig into these intentional inversions in a future episode. But for now, let's take a look at the stars. Literally, check out these stars. This image is a time-lapse image of the stars. It shows what is known as star trails over a period of time. Now notice how they form perfect circles. That is because the stars revolve around the earth. The earth was created when God inscribed or carved out a circle into the face of the deep. Now, if the stars were placed in the firmament covering the circular-shaped earth, we would naturally have perfect circles formed as the stars rotate above us. Now think about this. If the earth were the object spinning while orbiting the sun and flying through space as the galaxy moves through the ever-expanding universe, it would be impossible to get perfect circles formed by the movement of the stars. We would be moving in at least 3 different directions. So the stars would be a zigzag mess in a time-lapse image, but that is not the case, and this is very telling. Now, if the stars rotate above us, as the image and Scripture clearly show, then what about the sun and the moon? According to Scripture, the answer may surprise you. It is in fact the sun and moon that revolve over the earth, not the other way around. Let's take a look at a few examples of this in Scripture. Yet their voice goes out into all the earth, their words to the ends of the world. In the heavens, God has pitched a tent for the sun. It is like a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, like a champion rejoicing to run his course. It rises at one end of the heavens and makes its circuit to the other. Nothing is deprived of its warmth. Psalms 19, 4-6. There are a lot of interesting terms in that passage of Scripture, such as in the heavens or ends of the earth. But let's look at the word circuit and see exactly what it is this passage of Scripture is telling us. The word circuit is a noun. Circuit, a roughly circular line, route, or movement that starts and finishes at the same place. An example would be, I ran a circuit of the village. I ran around the village. The word circuit is a verb. Circuit, move all the way around a place or thing. An example would be, the trains will follow the northern line, circuiting the capital. The sun moves in a circuit above the earth, not the earth around the sun. Now, as you can see from the definitions and the image provided, the sun runs a circuit in the firmament which stops where it starts. And this isn't the only reference made in Scripture to the sun and moon being the object that is moving. Then Joshua spoke to the Lord on the day when the Lord turned the Amorites over to the sons of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, "Sun, stand still at Gibeon, and moon at the valley of," that word. So the sun stood still, and the moon stopped, until the nation avenged themselves of their enemies. Is it not written in the book of Jasher? And the sun stopped in the middle of the sky, and did not hurry to go down for about a whole day. Joshua 10:12 through 13. Now what I don't read about is the wind shear from the earth suddenly stopping its rotation, ripping the trees out of the ground, or people flying up into the air, or those forces just tearing the earth apart from that sudden stopping of the rotation. And that's not found here in Scripture because the earth didn't stop rotating. It had never started rotating to begin with because it is fixed on a foundation set upon pillars according to Scripture. So what happened in that passage from Joshua is exactly what it says. The sun and the moon stopped their movements above the earth. We've covered the sun, moon, and stars so far. And you may be wondering about the planets at this point. And I hear this objection a lot, actually. People will say things like, well, all the other planets are round, so what makes Earth so special?